Right now, we're working on a vertical slice for our next game, and so I thought I would talk a bit about what a vertical slice is, at least to me. I think in the game industry, there's a lot of definitions which vary from company to company and person to person, but I would at least, I can give you my opinion, and I found it helpful to us. So there's a lot of different things. There's playable prototypes, there's demos, and I think vertical slices are different than these things. I think vertical slice, the point of it is to give you an idea of what the finished game will be like. And I think the important thing is to answer all the questions you have about the game. When you're starting to work on a game, you don't have answers to a lot of questions. You don't know how your core mechanics are going to turn out. You don't know all these things. So with a vertical slice, you're trying to answer as many questions as you possibly can. And so I think that's different than a playable prototype, because a prototype doesn't necessarily need to be polished, but in my opinion, a vertical slice should be as polished as you can, at that point in development. Obviously, you're not going to have all your assets, you're not going to have everything, and you're probably going to go back and polish everything again. But you want to create something that at least looks the way you want the game to look, because then that's a good indicator of how long things will take, and sort of a target, so you can say, oh, here's what we're shooting for. And also, if you show it to people, on Kickstarter, you won't have to put big caveats like, this is temp artwork, it's going to look a lot cooler, because I think that's really tough for people to visualize. So the other thing is, like, a demo, I think, is different, because I think a demo is really more about getting people excited about your game, and so a demo may be more marketing friendly than a vertical slice, which is more useful for development. So, like, a good example was, like, Among the Sleep. They had a really great demo, but I would say it wasn't a vertical slice in that it was different in feel and mechanics from the rest of the game. The rest of the game was in the dream worlds and has all these puzzles and things. And I mean, at least to me, I felt like the demo was more horror focused, where the rest of the game was more adventure-y, or sort of the Gone Home style of game. If it were me and my game were mostly that sort of Gone Home style, I'd want to prototype that feel, the Gone Home style, and then focus on that for the vertical slice. So like with Neverending Nightmares, we tried as best we could to do a vertical slice, and I think the one thing that was really missing was enemies. So that was the one question that wasn't answered, which why after the Kickstarter that was the first thing I went to work on. Well, after like decompressing and getting my crap together, I started working on the enemy behaviors and how we wanted the enemies to work and things like that. But it would have been nice had I gotten that into the vertical slice, and certainly for our next game, I want to change a bit how the enemies work and what the notion of the enemy is, and so we're prototyping things along those lines for a vertical slice. The vertical slice, you want to answer all the questions you possibly can and figure out how long it'll take you, and then I think that can serve, maybe not as the best demo, because, like, for example, if I wanted to sell you on Neverending Nightmares, I definitely would say don't check out our Kickstarter demo. Except for people who are like, oh man, you didn't do a demo, because, Neverending Nightmares is a game that doesn't lend itself very well to a demo, because of the way the game is paced and the sort of focus on immersion and it's some games don't demo well and some games do, and like Alexander Bruce, in talking about Antichamber, he said he definitely didn't want to do a demo because he wanted people to just get in the world, and he didn't want them to, have like a pop-up screen up, levels over, pay us the money, right? Because, I mean, like, even in something like Antichamber, it's almost like an open-ended puzzle game, so how do you lock it down? Do you put a timer on it? I mean, so there's definitely games that don't demo well. But I think every game can vertical slice or has to vertical slice. I mean, the only thing, that I can think of is a game that's just like made of like disparate mini games or something. That would be hard to do a vertical slice for, and that would be a hard game to make. I think, and certainly I had a discussion at a development studio with this a person about this, and like what type of game we're making. Oh, mini games. And it's like, well, what's going to be the core underlying theme? And then mini games. And it's like, no, but is there some unifying thing? Is it like most of the mechanics are of a certain type? And that's a tough thing to sell. I mean, the only thing, like, the only game I can think of that's like just pure minigames are like, WarioWare or something along those lines. Whereas, like, even if you look at something like Mario Party, you could say the board, right? It's a board game, and then there's minigames based on the board game. I don't even remember how the board game works. It's been so long since I've played a Mario Party game. But, I mean, there's a board, or something that your characters are on, and then you go into different mini games. Man, now I sound like an idiot because I don't actually remember how Mario Party worked, and I'm losing all my gamer cred. But I did play a ton of Mario Party. Just it was just a while ago on GameCube. I played them all. But anyway, like, so if you say, oh, it's a party game and there's this board game and whatnot, then that's easier to explain than, oh, it's just based on minigames. So vertical slice for Mario Party could be, a basic board layout and some, like, 3 minigames or something like that. Whereas, I think it'd be difficult, especially with, like, WarioWare's really quick minigames. I mean, you could try and do a vertical slice of, like, 10 or 11 minigames, but at least for me, you want to focus on the core aspects of the game, and if your game doesn't have core aspects, then it's going to be very difficult to vertical slice and very difficult to estimate how long things will take and stuff like that. You might be in a situation where you have to just create like 3 times as many mini games and pick the best ones or something. Because they may or may not turn out well, and if you don't know if you're onto something until after you've done it, then it's a little bit on the late side. Anyway, that's my thoughts on vertical slices, and at some point, hopefully you'll get to play Vertical Slice for our next project. Thanks for watching.